I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Boris Johnson for his bravery in heading out to Saudi Arabia at a time where, for the last few years since the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, many international leaders have been, and I don't use this term lightly, chicken to do such a thing. But Boris understands that if we can't get our oil from a vicious, dictatorial, human rights abusing, warmongering regime, we need to go and get it from a different one. I understand some people have suggested that some sort of ongoing renewables programme would plug that gap, but some of those people were superglued to the M25, so I choose not to listen to them. Now, many of my constituents have attempted to highlight what they see as similarities between Putin's invasion of the Ukraine and the Saudi regime's continued bombardment of Yemen. But those are very different military operations. For starters, the Saudis are doing much, much better. They've killed a lot more people, and that is thanks to British engineering. It is BAE Systems, a British arms company that has produced a lot of the equipment and planes that they're using, and it is British engineers who've been shipped out there by that company to train the Saudi Arabian military and to teach them how to do things, to maintain the equipment, and to basically do pretty much everything except press the final button that drops the bomb on the hospital and thus absolves us of potential accusations of war crimes. And also, Ukraine and Yemen are very different places on the global stage. And I know that many of you are worried I'm about to say something wildly racist, but my speechwriters are actually very shrewd and have found a way for me to effectively do so while technically skirting around the issue. Ukraine and Yemen are very different places. For instance, Yemen isn't even in the Eurovision Song Contest. That's just for European countries and Israel and Australia. While he was out there, myself and a number of my colleagues urged Boris to encourage Mohammed bin Salman and other members of the Saudi regime to condemn Putin's actions, because I think if he finds out that people as awful and immoral as the Saudi regime are condemning his actions, he might seriously think about turning the tanks around and stopping all this nonsense. In fact, possibly the Saudi royal family could sign some sort of e-petition, perhaps on change.org, and if there are enough signatures on the petition, they'll probably debate it meaninglessly in the Kremlin, like we do with political issues that people are very angry about. Unfortunately, the trip was unsuccessful in securing any oil and also unsuccessful in securing any commitments regarding Putin and Ukraine, but it's not an entirely wasted trip. There was a quick jolly around duty-free in Riyadh, but unfortunately they don't sell Whiteley's gin, so I missed out in the presents round. There was a round of golf, which I understand went very, very well. And more importantly, it shows us how quickly the clock moves on global political events. Only a few months ago, people in Britain were furious about Partygate, about Boris Johnson betraying the nation in one of its darkest hours. But we've all but forgotten about that now. The headlines couldn't be less interested, and indeed only a week ago, people around the world were concerned about Saudi Arabia having beheaded 81 people, many of whom had committed no crime other than protesting the government itself. Again, the clock has moved on. We're all able to focus on the next issue, and I think that highlights what a dynamic place global politics is and why us MPs really do deserve a massive pay rise, much, much bigger than NHS workers or key workers around the country, or indeed basically anyone is getting at this point in time. I want to thank my constituents for continuing to support me through this complicated time. Of course, many of you won't be able to afford to live into the constituency any longer, but perhaps your homes and those vacated by Russian oligarchs quickly moving their money out of the country before somebody really insists we actually do something serious about it. Perhaps you could be replaced by Saudi dignitaries who'd like to come round and enjoy an afternoon with me. The country estate got a lovely putting green. You'd have a wonderful time. See you there. Oh, apparently it was a golf tour, not a golf tour. Complete misunderstanding. It sounded like fun though.